Having good lighting is absolute king when it comes to off-roading, overlanding, as well as daily driving. In dark nights on the rural roads where there's no other ambient lighting, your headlights are pretty much all you have. In the case of the Super Ute, I have LED bulbs in my headlights, which make them very bright, but I haven't gotten around to installing all of my auxiliary light to really light up the night when I'm driving. Especially in the fog, it doesn't really help a whole lot. So there definitely is a better way. And this right here is that better solution. This is going to be a thermal camera from Airayvis. It also comes with a really nice phone-sized display screen that's all vehicle mounted, and it's supposedly a very easy plug-and-play system. We're about to find out. The Airayvis actually attaches to the very top back edge of the hood using this really nice clamp mount system that has these rubber pads, which might cause a little bit of scratching to the paint, but I highly doubt it. They're really nice soft rubber, and it uses this pyramid shaped tool to get these all nice and snug down. Now, the real reason that we ended up going with this camera is because my wife and I hit a deer on a very dark, foggy night in rural Montana, and no damage to the vehicle, and we were safe. However, the deer was not so lucky. And that was one of those situations that definitely could have been avoided if we had something like this mounted to our vehicle. The cable off the camera is actually very long. It's maybe 7-8 foot, plenty enough to get through the firewall and then up to the box we need to put it into to branch off to the camera. Now, the camera itself is IP67, so don't have to worry about any kind of waterproof. More for me, it's just getting buried in snow and then having to uncover. It's going to be kind of a pain all winter long, but completely worth it knowing that I won't be as worried about wildlife and other obstacles in the roadway. Also, like I said, this uses AI technology to kind of identify and warn you of upcoming obstacles such as deer, dogs, people, bikes, cars. It actually does a little circle and identifies you as to what is what. That way you know what's coming ahead of you before you even see it. Every firewall is different. All I'm using is this piece of wire or even a coat hanger, and I'm going to tape it to the end of this USB-C plug here. I'm going to cover this up real nice with tape, that way it does not get damaged. And I'm just going to put it through one of the rubber plugs through the firewall. Super easy install. So that's the hard part, getting it through the firewall. It really wasn't that challenging. You just got to find the right spot, use a razor blade or a knife, make a puncture through the rubber, push it through. It's sort of self-healing. If you want to be extra cautious, use a little silicone to seal that up nice and tight. That way you don't get any fumes or water intrusion into your cab. Now, the next step is going to be hooking in the cable from the thermal camera itself into the, I guess, junction box. This is the junction box I was referring to. It's a fairly small compact package. It has the input for the camera, output for the screen, and it's just a very simple box. It's got double-sided tape here. You peel this off. I'm actually going to mount it kind of on the side by the gas pedal over here. If I ever have to make adjustments to it, it's easily accessible. Before I plug in the USB-C of the camera, I'm going to take these two black parts here, and this is the old belt suspenders theory of a double redundant system. That way it doesn't fall out. You encapsulate this just like so. Take the little tiny Phillips head screwdriver that came with the kit, and then you're going to screw these screws down to make this nice and snug. Unfortunately, the USB-C cable capture system that they included, the screws are just a bit too short, so they don't actually encapsulate. They just won't reach the threads to actually grab onto it. So I'm just going to put the USB-C in there and just obviously keep an eye on it. It really is a belt and suspenders system. It's not necessary. It will obviously still work. It should stay in the receptacle. I'm not really that concerned about it, but I will reach out to them to see if they can send me some longer screws for this, just so that I can use it that way, you know, it doesn't fall out, which would be really nice. Going to plug our USB-C from the thermal camera into the distribution block here. Nice firm application. Set that down for a second. We also have another cable here. This cable has a single black plug here, and then on the other end it's got a 6-pointed plug as well as another flat plug. This 6-pointed plug here is what actually gets put into the box here. Very easy to do. Just make sure everything lines up the correct way. The other side of this input here actually goes to the power input. So there's a DC power input with the cigarette light on the other side. That is just going to plug in like so. The box here I'm going to mount to the side of the center console next to the gas pedal. That way I can actually access all the plugs if I need to change anything around. And then I'm going to route the cigarette lighter along the side of the center console and actually insert it into the center console because I have a cigarette lighter plug in the center console, which will make it nice and hidden. This end here goes into the display monitor, which I'm going to route up next to the steering wheel, and the monitor is going to go where my cell phone goes, just to make mounting really easy and straightforward. And just like that, the install is complete. Let's see if it turns on and see how it works. The Airayvis thermal camera turned on and it looks really good. I took GoPro video of me walking past it. I'm in red, everything else is in gray. Very cool. However, the camera is tilted a little bit too far down, so I'm going to use the other wrench here that's included in the kit, and I'm going to angle the camera up just a little bit to get less of the hood and more of down the road. Now I'm out in front of the truck, and I'm just walking back and forth in front of the camera just to see what kind of movements. I'll put that on the screen now, but it should be able to pick me up. My color variation with the heat signature should be very different. I'm gonna run away and run back towards it. Now I've got my puppy out here with me, and we're just gonna walk in front of the camera a little bit to see what the difference between people and animals is. Come here, Pen. Come here. Good girl. Oh, good girl, Penny. Good girl. Hoping the camera can pick up her kind of running back and forth. Come here. Oh, good girl. See how close to the truck she can get before the truck loses her. Come here. I'm guessing probably right about here, just with camera angles on the hood height. It's probably as far as the camera's gonna be able to pick her up. Very cool technology. I ran out about 100 yards and the thermal camera was still able to pick me up, and there was obviously not as much contrast. However, I am identifiable, which is really the important thing. Now, this technology isn't new. Vehicle-based thermal imaging systems have been used by the military and law enforcement for a really long time. However, now being brought to the public market at a price point of $600, and also there's a 20% off coupon for you Adventure Built fans. It's really affordable and something that is within reach of most people out there. Now, this isn't in replacement of good off-road lights. You still want to be able to see things. This is just going to show you obstructions that your eye wouldn't normally see, and it also makes it visually apparent with the color contrast. My primary application for this system is to avoid hitting animals on the roadway. Deer, bear, elk, moose. There's all kinds of obstructions that I can't see driving at higher speeds when it's pitch black out at night. However, these thermal camera systems are just as good for urban environments as well. It's going to show you a kid darting out in front of a car in the middle of the night between street lights where your headlights may not be seeing it. It's just a really good safety feature that actually is added into a lot of factory cars now, just like the Tesla. Time for some real world testing. I want to take this out at dusk and then the pitch black and kind of see what animals are on the sides of the roads and just kind of see how much warning and advanced warning it will give us to be able to avoid those animals if they were to cross the road. Let's test it. I've been using the Airayvis thermal camera for almost 2 weeks now, and here's my final thoughts. One, it works really good. You can definitely see major contrast between people and vehicles and animals. I have no issues whatsoever with day-to-day usage of how it functions. It's actually really, really cool. Now, who is this product for? I really think this is specifically for people who live outside of town, where the street lights are non-existent and you have a lot of backcountry road driving in the really, really dark conditions. That's where this system is really gonna shine. In my application here in far northwest Montana, I have a lot of really dark roads, especially now it's wintertime. So a lot of dark driving, and this thing works awesome. The biggest benefit I've found in that scenario is when you're driving on these dark roads and you've got cars coming your way with their bright headlights on, and you really can't see because you're blinded by their headlights. The thermal camera will basically tell you if there's any obstructions in front of you. That way you know if you're in your lane, you are totally fine. There are a few things that I have to put out there. One, this is a really expensive system. Yes, 10 years ago, this would have been $10,000, but today it's $1,000. And even with your 20% off Adventure Built discount code, which you can see here, it's still $800, which is a hefty price tag. However, if you are in the market, this is a great option. Two, driving in fog isn't great. I don't know why. It really should work, but when the really thick foggy conditions, like here in almost wintertime in Montana, I've driven in rain, fog, ice, snow. I've had the gamut of all the different conditions, and fog was the only one where I thought it would work better, and it really had a hard time cutting through the fog, identifying obstacles. I'll put some of that video on now. Everything seemed very muted. So I will say it does not work awesome in fog. And number three is going to be, I cannot find for the life of me a brightness setting on the display monitor. I can't turn the brightness down at night. Driving on the really dark roads, I dim all my interior lights to give my night vision the best chance looking outward. And the screen being really bright, it tends to be distracting. I kind of turn it, angle it towards my wife so she can kind of keep an eye on the camera. That way it's not distracting in my field of view. But other than that, this system is absolutely rad. You guys got to be sure to check it out. If you're in the market, this is definitely something to look at. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time.